Hi there, Robin here from Expert On today, and we're going to be talking about wireless microphones. Not any wireless microphones. We're going to be talking about the PDWM3375 from Pyle. That's also going to help us cover the 3378, which is a combo set, one handheld and one headset from Pyle. And we're also going to include the single 1904. Now, what do all these have in common? They all have handheld multi-channel systems to them. Now, they're 8-channel. So this allows us to easily switch between any channels. We're looking for a talk microphone, a karaoke microphone, a microphone for giving speeches, a microphone for walking around with. It's a great microphone to do all those kind of things with it. Now, these are probably the most versatile products that they have that are really still good quality. So I do recommend them. So we're going to take a chance, bringing them off to the table, covering all the features in the back, seeing what exactly it does. So first, I'm going to put this on right here because guess what? We are doing a live sound check right now of this microphone connected to the camera. So bear with me a second. Alrighty. So why I did that, it was so this way you had a chance to hear the difference between without the actual sock and the sock on. So we're going to be taking this off to the table, looking at all the features on the back of it, on the front of it, how it actually works, and we'll even go through the channels and see how that is. And we'll also figure out who the right person it is for. We'll also take a moment after that to actually look at it on a mixer and see the different ways that we can plug it into either a camera like I'm doing right now, or into a mixing board, or what's the best way to hook it up if you're going to go straight into a computer. Anyways, we'll see you in a second. All right, so here we are. We're at the table. What do we have in front of us? We've got the kit that's part of the PDWM3375. Now, I'm going to say the models a few times when we're doing this because that really defines the product that you're going to be buying. Remember, we're going to be talking about a few models. I'm going to put this down here. And we're going to be talking about the single, which is called the PDWM1904. We're also going to be talking about the one that's actually unpacked right here, which is again the 3375, and we're also going to be covering the 3378. Now, the 3378 is a combo, so you're going to get one headset and one handheld, and we'll talk about some of the special features about this a little bit in this video, but we'll cover it when we actually do the lavalier. So for now, we're going to cover half of it, which is going to be the handheld part of it, and then we'll have a video that's going to be more specific towards the headset and lavalier option, part of the body pack that comes in this kit here. Now, right off the hop, let's get past the whole fact that it's Pyle. I think a lot of people buy it because of the price point and probably don't actually have an idea on how to use the product, and then they're like, oh, it's no good. That's a little, well, why? Why is it no good? So, I think most of the time it has to do with lack of being able to use the product and being able to incorporate it. A lot of people think they just plug this in and it should work, and I must be doing something wrong. No, it must be the product. It's the first time I've ever used a wireless microphone, so let's blame the product. So what we're going to do is we're going to cover all this. We're going to cover the mixer. We're going to cover the microphones. We're going to cover, I've got down here, a consumer PA speaker, which has a lot more features on the back of it. Now, the reason why we're going to cover all these other products at the same time is because, and this is a commercial speaker, is so this way we can know how to plug this into the system that we have. This way, maximizing the quality of what we've got in front of us, at the same time being really happy with saving a ton of money. Now, there are people out there that absolutely you've got to spend $400 or $500 on a wireless microphone system because of what you're doing. And for sure, after watching this video, it's either going to reinforce why you got to spend more money, or it's going to make you go and think, oh, you know what? I think this might be what I'm looking for. Now, there's lots of wireless consumer products, and that's important to note. This is a consumer product. What does that mean is it's not something you're going to take on tour to 100 cities and run every night and never break it. I mean, if you drop it 10 times, it's like a cat. I think you got 9 lives. The 10th one might be a little iffy. So, first it takes AA batteries. They slide right into the back. You pull the cover back. You slide your batteries in. Make sure you put them in the right way. That's straightforward. Slide the cover back on like so. Now, this is a completely open wireless system, meaning the body and the microphone on top is all interconnected, so there will be more transfer of noise on here than you normally would get. Some of them have a screw on top where it's metal plastic body, which by the way is normal, but you have a metal capsulated microphone on top. It's in the style of the SM58. There's a lot of wireless systems out there. We have some from Gemini that are built that way. But this particular product we sell because it fits right in between the two other very popular products we sell, which is Gemini's UHF system and then their multi-channel UHF system. So this one here has 8 channels on it, and it's really easy to operate because it doesn't use frequencies, it just uses numbers 1 through 8. So if you want to go to channel 5, you just take this guy right away when it turns on, and before it stops, you want to press that number on top. There's 2 buttons. I'm going to press that until I get to number 5. So hold it down. It starts to blink. Once it starts blinking, I can press that number, and we're going to be able to change our numbers. We just cycle up and down. There's just an up and down arrow. Remember, you got to hold the button down for about 3 seconds. This means that nobody's accidentally going to change the channel on it when it's in use. So if you're a DJ doing 150 people and you're looking for an affordable wireless system, this is a good choice. I would always get it in a pair, so this way if something does happen with one, you can always fall back in the other. And just like any wireless system, you want to back it up with a corded microphone. So that means have yourself that 100-foot XLR or 250-foot XLR cables and a corded mic just in case. So now, as I demonstrated earlier, I had it plugged in to my camera, and that's because I have an audio interface box. So if you're wondering, I want to use a wireless system on my camera, what do I need to have? Look at one of our videos for the, I'm going to read it off the actual camera. It's called a Marantz Professional PDWM3378. Now, that's an audio interface box. There are many, many models. That's the one we like to sell because it's really affordable. It's 2 channels, got a lot of options on it. It allows you to connect straight to the bottom of your DSLR camera and then plug that unit straight into the camera where the microphone input is. Don't try figuring out how to plug this straight into your camera. You can do it. You're going to have to make a custom wire. One day I will make a video on how to make that custom wire, but the problem is the gains are off a little bit. You're playing around with it a lot. You don't have a lot of options with that. It is workable. The reason why you can't do it just by using an adapter is because your camera is stereo and all microphones start off mono. So that means either your left channel or your right channel and your camera is not going to have any sound on it. You're only going to have hissing or buzzing in the background. So use an audio interface box. You'll be doing yourself a great favor. All right. So how does it work and what's it all about? So on the front, we can change our channels. So if we're using this at a hotel that has like 10 halls in it and somebody else's wireless system, and by chance we turn this on and either they hear us or we hear them, you can change the channels on it. And that's why you want a multi-channel system. If you're using this at home, it's not so important. It's nice to have, but that's really why you have a multi-channel system, so this way you can go out and about and be able to change the frequency if needed. It is part of the UHF spectrum. There's a whole big conversation about, well, that's going to be changing, and that day isn't here yet. But for now, just note 8 channels, 8 different frequencies. Think of them like TV channels or radio stations, 8 different ones. They're all pre-built into here. All you got to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Match it up with this unit, and you're off to the races. Now, UHF means that it's got better quality. Now, it's a whole spectrum thing, so we're not going to get into that whole spectrum thing. VHF, not so good for range, and the audio tends to be a lot more compressed. It was the very first wireless system, and it still kicks around as being the cheapest way to go, but because there's so much electronics that has some UHF little attachment to it for wireless, not worth getting. So, now, why is this important with this particular unit? You can buy other units and they're all in the same price range. First of all, getting back to the name, Pyle also has one very important thing that's great for you, the consumer, horrible for me, the seller. They don't have an MAP, which is minimum offer price. That's when a company says, this mixer, regular price, cannot sell for less than, and I'm going to make this up, $149. Pyle doesn't have that. So the retailer can do whatever they want. So it gets beaten up pretty bad, and mostly that's happening on Amazon. well, actually, I don't normally quote prices, but this is just to give you a grand idea. So if you go to Pyle USA or pyleaudio.com, you're going to find this unit has a retail price of $250 US, or about $300 Canadian. Now, if you go to Amazon.com, because they have no MAP on this product, so they're not telling Amazon what the minimum sale price is. So basically, here you go, buy it, do whatever you want. In the States, you can buy this in the combo set for 80 bucks. A lot of people go, I'm not willing to spend more, but that's what I'm saying. No MAP. So basically, they're selling it for cost. In Canada, it's 120 bucks on Amazon.ca. Again, I know these things. That's cost. So there's no money being made. They're just selling this stuff because they can, and they can sell it for that cheap. They're Amazon. They do that kind of stuff. Anyways, so that's big icing on the cake for you. So don't be surprised by how affordable this product is. So enough with the product, the pricing, and everything like that. Let's just cover the last little bits, which are on the back side. On the back side, you've got 2 gain controls. That is so you can adjust the actual how strong this microphone is in comparison to the signal coming out to your mixer, your audio interface, or your speakers. And there's 2 of them because they give you one for each microphone or the headset in that case. If you get the single, of course, you're only going to have one. Now, the jacks are what I like. The fact that at this price point, they're giving you both a 1/4 inch and an XLR, which is kind of important because the cable that comes included is a 1/4 inch cable. Now you gotta understand, Pyle is mostly selling wireless microphones, wired microphones, PA speakers, that sort of thing. They're not, they do have a line of mixing boards, but they actually make those mixing boards work really well with the equipment they have. So, if you're pulling off a regular PA speaker that has a mic input jack on the back of it, which is normally line 1, you're gonna be able to take that 1/4 inch cable, and you're going to be able to plug that right into the back there, and then you take the other end of it and you plug it right into the back, regardless if you're using the 1/4 inch or the XLR, because on a PA speaker like this, they give you one of each jack on the back. So there's no right or wrong way to connect this. I could have done the exact same thing with the XLR cable. So I can plug the XLR cable into the back of the speaker, and I can plug the other end of the XLR into the back of here. And it's still going to work, and it's going to work just fine. Again, microphone volume, boom, we're all set. Now, going that, let's cover the last possible way of doing it. So you need a longer cable, and all you've got is a handheld microphone that came with a 3-pin XLR, which fits in the back of your receiver, and the other end's a 1/4 inch, and it will fit in the back of your speaker. Now, because this speaker happens to have both jacks for the mic input, this is fine. You can use this cable. There's no problem with that. And like I said, a lot of times we end up with these cables because they're spares in the set that we have because we got a free cable included. That's covering this speaker here. Now again, all consumer product speakers will be similar. So they'll have a mic input, usually line 1, and that line will have a 1/4 inch and an XLR input on it. And there you go. Now on a commercial speaker, they're getting better, but you still run across consumer speakers that have just one input on the back, and it's an XLR plug. So you will need to use that XLR cable, which, remember, isn't included in the actual systems. They give you a 1/4 inch. So off you go, plug that into there. Your volume usually starts halfway, or there's a button to switch that into a mic input, and you go ahead. Now remember, you have no effects that way. You have pretty much nothing. You're just basically making your voice louder when you plug straight into the speaker. Consumer speakers, if you're lucky, check, they may have reverb, that sort of thing, tone controls and that. But now we move on to a mixer. So now a mixer, there's going to be 2 types of mixers. Newer mixers or updated mixers with new versions of it will have a combo jack on it. Now a combo jack is a jack that is usually black in color, and it's, instead of the metal 1/4 inch jack or a 3-pin XLR jack, this is a combo. So that means, yes, you can stick your 1/4 inch cable right in there, right down the center, no problem. It'll work. You can also stick an XLR in the exact same plug, just like that, no problem. So with that being said, there's usually a button or the gain knob will switch and allow you to go between either having it as a mic input or a line input. Now, some mixers do separate it and say that mics are on the XLR and line inputs, everything else, instruments are on the 1/4 inch. So you do want to check your manual, and you'll probably know that off the hop when you plug it in, because if you notice that there's a big difference in gain between how much volume you get out of the 1/4 inch versus how much volume you get out of the XLR, then your mixer probably is that way. So that's the big thing there. Now, if you have another mixer, which we'll grab from here, the advantages of having a showroom, product tends to be everywhere. So here, this mixer is more traditional in the sense where we have an XLR on top and we have a 1/4 inch on the bottom. Now, the reason why I brought this one over is because you can only plug the microphone into the XLR. Even though the only cable you got in the box was that 1/4 inch, doesn't mean just because you have a cable and it fits, it's actually going to work. If you do that, your gain is going to be about 30% of what it should be. So you really want to get yourself an XLR cable and plug into the top part of that, and that's going to guarantee that you're going to get the proper sound quality out of it. So there you go. What do I think of the microphones? I think they're great. I think you're better off to have an actual sponge for them. They don't put a big filter on this thing. It's not a very dense filter. Nice part is you can hold it up close, you can hold it down low, you can do as you wish. Do talk in the microphone if you're using it and you have to do live, because you are going to have to balance off all systems with the potential of having feedback. So, that being said, if you take this home and you're going, I want to, I'm using it as a karaoke system, or I'm setting up, you don't want the speaker behind you. So having a speaker over here would be a bad thing if I'm trying to talk to you from here. I want the speaker to be in line and in front of me. Now that's going to really, really dramatically reduce the potential feedback. You want to have the speakers away. You want to do some sound testing. Depending on the speaker, especially if you're using it for karaoke, speaker on the floor as a monitor is way better than having a speaker on a stand at the same height as you and the microphone. It's all about deflecting the sound around, getting it to push away, and not having a direct line of sight. So that's always an important thing to worry about. Now, outside of that, I've used them tons. This particular system that we have here is now a store demo for 4 years. Now, I will say, this microphone's gotten pretty beaten up. It's dropped a lot of times. And this microphone I did have to replace. I replaced this about 6 months ago because after 3.5 years of using it every day and customers using it and people trying it, and I'll be honest, lots of kids come in our showroom and, nice that families come in the store, don't get me wrong, but this has been dropped way too many times. So everything still works. I was able to get a new one from Pyle that made our life easy, and we're back to running. Now that's the nice part, 8 channels, so we had no problem getting one to match. That was easy enough. But like I said, they're awesome consumer products. If you're using a wireless microphone on a rare occasion, you're doing conventions, you're doing seminars, that sort of thing, you want a wireless system, pretty good system. Just remember, you got to practice with it. You got to get used to it. You got to get comfortable with it. And that's the only way you're going to get away from having feedback issues and being able to feel comfortable with the microphone you're using. So, I think we've covered everything on the microphone itself. Do I recommend it? Yes. If you're not going out doing a professional gig and you want good quality, easy to use, straightforward, and you've got a whole bunch of other things that you need to buy to make sure it works. Well, I hope that video was helpful for you. If you're looking for more information about this video or any other videos, have a look down below at the content. We'll always have links for where you can get the product, where you can find more information about the product, and if you have any questions or concerns, leave them down below. If you got any comments, please put them in the comment section. That's always good as well. If you're looking for other videos to look for, just go to our channel, Expert Island, and you'll find a whole bunch more details there for you. And don't forget to subscribe.